Okay, welcome to the first of our series here with me and Kimberly Ingraham-Beck. I'm Shauna Dorsey with the Aksarben Foundation, and we're just here to start having conversations about the power of collaboration as far as it relates to the Computer Science and Tech Education Act and the variety of resources available, and just to hear from you all about what you need and what you're seeing and how we can support. So today's conversation is really just an introduction to the both of us if you don't know us yet, and just for us to have this kind of made up back and forth interview thing that we're going to do today. So welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Kimberly Ingraham-Beck. I am a computer science teacher for Gretna Public Schools. This is my 8th year in this role and 14th year overall. The first 6 years of my teaching career were actually as an instrumental music teacher in OPS. So kind of a weird transition, but it works. Yeah, I'm also a board member for the Computer Science Teachers Association, the Nebraska chapter. So you want to tell us a little about that? Sorry, a little bit about you.
Yeah, so Shauna Dorsey, Nebraska native. I oversee the Nebraska Tech Collaborative and the internship initiative at the Aksarben Foundation, a collaboration with the Department of Economic Development. I've been in workforce development type of spaces since about 2014, so that's going on 11 years, which is fun and wild, and have been in tech for over 20 or tech adjacent type of roles. So just have really seen a lot of changes over time, and appreciate the opportunities that are available in this space. So happy to be here today and take all the lessons learned over all these years to hopefully make it easier for people who come after me.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to give this a shot here. Let me just get my notes up. So here we go. Okay. Me to you. All right. So this series, it's all about bringing together educators, businesses, community leaders. So Kimberly, why is it important to have these conversations?
So a couple of reasons that come to mind right away. First of which being a lot of teachers did not necessarily work in the industry. So we have a very limited knowledge of what the industry is like, day-to-day functions, even job roles or skills needed for those. We've kind of heard secondhand, there have also been some kind of internships that some teachers have taken advantage of to kind of give us more information. But really all we know is the educational institutions. So it's really nice to bring in people from the industry to kind of help bridge the gap that we may have. Also, just keeping up to date on, what's going on in the business world, what kind of new technologies are out, what's kind of coming up on the horizon. I think those would also be really valuable insights that we could share too, that teachers may or may not know about. So,
Agreed.
yeah. So you're working with students and employers every day. How does this series support those efforts?
Yeah, like to your point, it's just kind of like things are ever changing, right? And so I think the more that we can provide the latest insights as best as we know them, because we know that they're ever changing, but the latest insights so that people kind of know, okay, here's what we can anticipate, or other employers can say, yeah, we're experiencing the same thing, whether that is challenges in finding people with certain skill sets, et cetera, or just like the readiness of students coming out of K-12 higher ed for the types of internships that are out there. I think that just is better for all of us.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So we know that demand for tech talent is growing. What challenges are you seeing in your space?
So Nebraska just recently approved required computer science standards for every public high school student, starting with this year's freshmen. And so we know that came because there's a huge gap or not necessarily gap, but a need for people working in the tech field. And so hopefully by requiring these standards for every single student, we can kind of plant the seed of interest for computer science. But I see lots of opportunities coming in with this is working with teachers, because now that they're teachers teaching this, they may or may not have had much instruction on computer science. So if we can kind of work together with this, we can kind of help maybe teachers who are not super secure in this field just yet. But yeah. Oh, I skipped ahead. Sorry. I just realized that. You work closely with businesses through Intern Nebraska. What companies are looking for interns and early career hires for students?
Yeah, so what I love to see is that it's so diverse, right? So we've got small companies, larger companies, like the companies that you would imagine showing up in with a big internship program. So definitely they're a part of this. The thing that I am most excited about, though, is that it's not just technical skills that these companies are looking for, which I think is super important to know. It's like you want that willing learner, the person who knows that your job will change over time. So the skill requirements will change over time. You're just expected to be a lifelong learner in these types of roles, no matter what type of position you get, especially in tech. But they're looking for people that are great communicators, collaborators, team players. So those three things I think are skill sets that are just harder to come by because it takes experience and going through like conflict and all the things that it's just not writing a program and like interacting with your data set or software or whatever. It literally is, how can I be the best colleague possible? And that just takes time to develop. So the more opportunities students get to work on those projects in K-12, like those kind of capstone experiences, things like that, I think that will help them be better prepared for the workforce.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So just keep me on track here. Are we on number 5 or 4 right now?
4.
Okay, cool. This is how I am in general, where I'm just like, look, let's just make sure we're
No, it makes me feel better because I I don't know, I'm all over too. So no, this makes me feel better. Thanks.
No, it's good. Okay, so computer science education is a big piece of workforce development. We know it's an important part. Like one thing I'll say that's not directly stated in this question, but is a fact, is that every company has a tech component to their business now. That is just how it is. So it's just there. But can you share how the Computer Science Teachers Association is helping bridge the gap between education and industry?
Yeah, so we have had guest speakers come. We've previously done tours of companies just to kind of see, you know, what it's like and what's out there. But we're really focusing right now on reaching teachers who may not consider themselves computer science teachers. Maybe they just teach a course that goes through the required standards, but they're still going to need help with their curriculum, with any questions they may have. And so I think this would be a really good place that CSTA could kind of partner with, or just even have people from the community come in and help and talk with us, especially because we are across the state. So there are different companies in different areas, and there's different type of like you were saying, technology touches every aspect. I know, ag is huge in Nebraska. We may not have specific, I mean, I guess I was going to say, like, we don't have a heavy focus on ag in Omaha, but like with Valmont, that's all ag, and that's just right outside of Omaha. So I think that was not a correct statement, but like we need to hear of the way technology is being used in all these different industries. So
Agreed.
I think that would be really great. And for businesses, what are some easy ways they can get involved and support students and educators through Intern Nebraska?
So we host a series of volunteer events, and our whole thing is like make it easy. Like I've never said that out loud, but that's really what we try to do, is make it easy for people to engage with us. So that could be like come and volunteer at an event where you'll sit at a table. We'll prepare the list of questions so you don't have to come up with anything, but we just try to make it so easy for people to engage. The time commitments are pretty short. We do things statewide with our partners at each community college, so it's not like you have to be in Omaha to engage. Also, we do a lot of virtual things like this webinar series that you and I came up with is something that is easy for us to do. We just pop online, have a conversation. We'll invite partners as we go, but it's a conversation that will be recorded. People can interact with us in real time. They don't have to commute anywhere. So again, we're just really trying to think of ways to like get people engaged on the intern side. Now I know on the K through 12 side, and you can speak to this better than I can, so it's kind of like a reverse question, but can employers easily come in and do like guest speaking, come and meet with students and just talk about the careers in computer science, the variety of careers, things like that?
So I think it varies district to district.
Mhm.
When I first started in Gretna, they were not super in favor of having guest speakers. I think specifically because they didn't want super one-sided kind of salesman-y type
Yeah.
guest speakers. But they've kind of opened it up quite a bit more. So we've had some here. Any teachers in the audience, if you want to type in the chat, are you allowed to have guest speakers? I know we have a couple.
Cool.
But as far as I know, I don't know about in person for every school, but I would assume virtual would be allowed. So we'll see if our attendees have any thoughts.
Okay. And
But
we
I
know
guess,
that's not,
yeah.
what's that?
Oh, sorry. No, I was just gonna say in the meantime, I could ask you a question, but
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
um, okay. Or no, actually, I guess it's your turn again. Okay.
Okay, all right, I'm back up, Okay, so you have a podcast. So tell us
Yes,
about it and where people can listen.
absolutely. So this kind of came from a planning session last spring. I was feeling super overwhelmed just with the number of teachers who are reaching out, panicking because I have to teach this class next year. I've never done anything with computer science. I don't know how to program. Just all sorts of panicked people were reaching out. And so I was like, we got to do something. So I got kind of a think tank together with a few teachers from different grade levels that I knew. And then Sean Young at the Department of Education, and then a professor from UNO and UNL. And we just got together and we sat down and we were like, what can we do? What's working? What's not working? And so from that kind of came a podcast. And we thought, we could focus on the entirety of Nebraska topics. So this first year as we've been doing it, we've been focusing on topics that are that we think would be most important for new teachers or new to computer science teachers to know. So we focused on curriculum. We focused on where to find different types of curriculum. We've also focused on what different classrooms look like, and given some phenomenal teachers. Oh, I just saw Tiffany. Thank you so much, Tiffany. Yeah, so Tiffany says they invite speakers in Minden all the time. Thank you. That's awesome. But yeah, just trying to focus on, here are some master teachers. This is what they're doing, and then advice that they have for new teachers as well. So we're kind of focusing on those kind of things. It's called CS4NE with a numeric 4. We also have a website, cs4ne.org. But it's Dr. Guy Trainin from UNL and I. And then we have some really awesome guest speakers every week. So including Shauna and Tiffany. So awesome. Thanks. And then I also want to mention CSTA is open to anyone who's passionate about computer science education. Even though we are the Computer Science Teachers Association, we know that there are community partners who are passionate about helping others learn about education, even though they may not be in the school system. We would love to have you join, come to our meetings, and see how we can kind of work together to help spread the love of computer science around. But yeah, it's not just for teachers, and it's free to join. So it's csteachers.org, I think. I'm in my neighbor's classroom because I had students in mine, so he just came in. I thought he'd left. Okay, sorry. But Shoshana, what is one takeaway that you hope attendees leave with today?
So yeah, just noting that we're going to keep this kind of informal. So if you come to these in the future, it'll be just like this, more structured on the question side, but we're just really wanting this to be a place where people can have conversations, interact, meet new people, that sort of thing, but not be a boring PowerPoint. Like that's just not the style that we're going for here. We just want communication, community, all of that. So that's the last thing I'll leave you with. Oh, and one more thing. There probably aren't many employers on this call, but the application window for the current grant application cycle for Intern Nebraska closes February 28th. So there's about a month left to apply for the grant, and just wanted to put that out there.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Are there any questions from any of the attendees?
I'm not seeing any right now, but I want to know, I think we're planning on hosting these every other month. So our next one will be in March, and we'll be inviting a guest speaker to that one, TBD. So more to come. But just note that this will be every other month in March, always at 4 o'clock, always recorded. So if you can't make it, don't worry, you can watch the recap or the video. But these are great opportunities to just interact with us in real time. Oh, question here. Does Intern Nebraska reach out to the center western part of the state or metro area? So great question, Tiffany. Yes, we have a regional coordinator is her title. I'm just looking like that right now because she works full-time for Western Nebraska Community College in Scottsbluff, but she also works part-time for the Aksarben Foundation to connect students, employers, community partners in Scottsbluff to the Intern Nebraska grant. We also have partners through the chambers throughout the state, like Columbus, Norfolk, Lincoln Chamber, and I'm just thinking of where they're all at, to the grant, so that people who are members of those chambers can work with those chamber partners to connect to the Intern Nebraska initiative. And then Aksarben Foundation itself has scholarships at all 6 community colleges. So that includes Central and Metro, Northeast, Southeast, Mid-Plains, Western, all of the community colleges, along with Iowa Western. And as part of that, the scholarship program, the students who are scholarshiped are required to sign up for InternNE. So our hope is that we just have students across the state who are participating, and then companies across the state who are offering internships, so that students don't think that they have to go to Omaha or Lincoln for an opportunity, and that they can find great options within their local community. So hopefully that answers the question. One other thing I'll state is that with the grant, it's been available through the collaboration between the state and Aksarben since October 2023. And the state has awarded around $9 million so far. And that 9 million represents about 1,500 internships, 300 plus companies, 20 or so plus, it's more than 20. The 20 is the last number I have, but 20 communities across the state. And that's at least one in each community college region. So the spread is across the state but it is, I will say, primarily in Omaha, Lincoln, just because that's where the majority of the companies are. But our whole goal is to make sure that we get companies outside of Omaha, Lincoln. Examples of companies that have partnered with InternNE. Yep, you know what? I'll do you one better if you give me just a second and pull up the latest report so that you can see who these companies are. If you give me just a second here. 1 second here.
I don't know if you can hear the music in the background.
Yeah, I wish I had it. It's kind of like Jeopardy
Okay.
now. I
No,
feel like
it's fine. Yeah, I can't remember the name. I think it's Guns N' Roses. I can't remember, but anyways, it's just kind of funny. So I'm in one of our industrial tech rooms, and the room next to it has their radio going, and it's pretty loud. But it's quieter than my students, my esports students practicing. So that's why I came in here.
Got it. Okay. All right. I'll bring this up. Tiffany, just give me a second. And the thing I do want to mention is the sheet that I'm going to show you doesn't show the location of the companies, but you can tell by the names that they're not all just, Omaha, Lincoln focused. So let me just scroll over here. Oops, wrong way. Alrighty. Okay. So we've got, Pillin Farms, Fremont Chamber, Lincoln Tool Design Co., City Ventures, Gallup. So these are just a variety of companies in a variety of different industries that are a part of this. the larger the company, you'll see that many of the larger ones have more internship positions, and that's just a restriction that the grant has in place. But Nave Analytics, for example, is based out of Kearney, and it's an ag tech startup that is run by a dynamic woman out of Kearney, Nebraska. But it's just, there are just such a variety of opportunities out here. There are legal, landscaping, social media, software development, just a variety of opportunities out here. So just scrolling through the list, but yeah.
Ooh, excellent question, Tiffany. How can students get started with Intern Nebraska?
Yes, great follow-up question. So I'm going to open up one more site, and this is InternNEB.org. I'll throw the link in the chat as well. But on the InternNEB.org site, students just need to, let me make sure I'm in the right spot here. All right. Okay. Yep, here we go. But yep, if they go out to internneb.org and go to the student page, it'll walk students through exactly what they need to do. The first step is to sign up for Simplicity. And once they're signed up, they can begin to browse internships and apply for positions right away. But yeah, they'll create a quick profile that can be filled out in its entirety later, but it just asks for basic information to get started. Like I mentioned, they can apply for internships right away. And once they are in the system, they can also register for events that we host throughout the state, just to kind of stay connected and start to build those relationships with peers and employers. So that's what they need to do. But first up is just visit the website.
Follow-up question, are there any age restrictions for the internships?
Yeah, so the internships that are approved by the state are for high school juniors and seniors, college students, and non-traditional students who are going through certificate training programs. So there are some, but it's pretty broad still, which is nice. I think the state is really trying to make it something that is accessible to anyone who is a recent student or recent grad.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the questions, and really good questions.
Absolutely. So our contact info, I think, is on the Zoom. If not, we'll share it with everyone who's registered. But we hope to see y'all again in a couple of months, and we'll send out a notice about who the next guest will be so that you can decide if it's something that you want to attend or want to send to your colleagues. But we thank you guys for joining us for our first one.
Yes, thank you so much, and have a good day.
Thank you. Oh, wait, is there another question? Oh, thank you, Tiffany.
Yeah. Thank you.
Take care, everybody.